This is What's Neat This Week, podcast number 46. And tonight, this is good. Look, guys, this is Kumbaya. This is the best hobby in the world. And this is going to be a good show because we're coming off the NMRA Nationals. We got a lot of neat material to talk about from last week's show in Kansas City. So this is the What's Neat This Week podcast number 46. The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearns Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by Bachmann Trains. Now that's the way to run a railroad. Check out their website at bachmanntrains.com. Scaletrains.com. Innovative Scale Trains. Check out their website at scaletrains.com. And thank you very much for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
He's not ready.
This is the What's Neat This Week podcast, number 46 for August 18th, 2018. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening in what is arguably the best hobby in the world, guys. And tonight I've got with me Austin Allard, working camera number 1. I've got Dion, working camera number 2. That was the same helper that we had working the podcast last weekend. Thank you so much. Look who's sitting next to me, our favorite Daniel Coombs.
Yeah, I missed you, Daniel.
And then I'm going to go to Mike Buddy so I can put the words over here. Here's Michael Buddy. And I've got, look at this guy, Joshua Sugarfire. And we've got Jeff Meyer and Connor. Thank you, Jeff and Connor, for being here tonight. And tonight we've got a lot of new news, but a lot of what we're going to talk about was our experiences that we had the privilege to be at the NMRA National Show in Kansas City. What a beautiful show it was, and we saw a lot of neat stuff, Joshua. And this was the first show that you ever went to, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure was, and it was neat. Definitely. There was quite a few people that came to us and said that they loved the show and wanted to take our picture, and we appreciate everybody for doing that. Really boosts us up and makes us want to do these shows even more.
Mike, what did you think about all that attention that you were getting?
I'm getting used to it. It's all right.
You're a celebrity.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say that.
I'm not getting used to it. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of guys got handshakes and a lot of hugs. I hugged a lot of people, told them they were brothers, they were part of the show, and that this is the best hobby in the world that we all get to share. And it was great to do that. In fact, we did a lot of interviews at the show, and Mike Buddy and Joshua both held cameras for me. And one of the interviews we did was with Stacy and Phil Wathers. And it was amazing to do the interview with them. First of all, it was a great interview. But the weird thing was when you looked back into the aisle, there was 30 people standing there. And 15 of them had their cell phones open or on or whatever that's called. They were holding their phones up. You know, it's the times of the times. It's something you would have never seen 10 years ago. 10 years ago, somebody would walk up to you and say, would you autograph this mainline model or cover? And now everybody's holding up cell phones. So there's a lot of B-roll footage of that Wathers interview out there floating around, about 30 of them, I think.
Yep.
Mike, tell me, a lot of folks said that they loved your car segments.
Well, I finally met Claire Gilbert, the proprietor of Sylvan Scale Models this weekend. And he has mostly 30s, 40s, 50s cars, but he's slowly working his way up into the 60s, and he hopes the 70s. But I bought 2 of his most modern models, the 64 Plymouth 2-door and 4-door. And they went together quite well. I used my Scotch tape windows on the one that I finished, and I was real happy with the way it turned out. But, yeah, it was a good weekend. My favorite thing of the whole show was that Tunkhannock Viaduct that Andy Maniesco, I think is how his name. That's like 25 feet long. This
that was amazing.
Concrete viaduct up in
I
Pennsylvania.
think that was the Fremo layout.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
The Fremo layout was very detailed. It was the Midwest Valley Modelers layout on steroids. It was so beautiful the way the whole layout flowed, and there were 65 modules there. And we've got a lot of footage of that to run in the October What's Neat this week, or no, What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And in fact, I'm going to get in trouble on this because I know I'm going to mess up this name. Michelle Kempia Did I get it right?
Kempema.
Michelle Kempema. Sorry about that, Michelle. Wonderful girl that we met out there that works at the Colorado Railroad Museum. And this is a really nice museum in Greeley, Colorado, where they've got a 5,500 square foot HO scale layout. Just a magnificent display. Plus they've got a caboose on hand. And it was a really nice place. And she did a great interview for us, but she also did that part on What's Neat where you look at the camera and you say, the October What's Neat starts right now. And she did that for us. So thank you very much, Michelle, for playing along with us on that. Now, I've got a lot of footage of the show because as soon as I drove to Kansas City, which was not a long enough drive, I love driving on the road, and I just wanted to just take some time out of the basement. And I got out of the basement, and it was awesome. But as soon as I got to the show, I drove right into the auditorium. I parked my truck right next to the Athearn booth and started unloading everything. I had to unload the turntable display, which was a display that I had put a light on. So I unloaded all this and some Central Valley bridges that I had to bring. So I got right up front in the convention parking. And then I climbed up on a ladder and shot the entire floor. It had, I don't know how big it was. It's the biggest show I've ever seen. It just went on for miles. You can see from this camera footage. It was just amazing. I put a light on that Athearn turntable, like I said before, and I can show you some video roll of that. That turntable came out really neat with the LED light on it that lit it up. Scale Trains announced at this show a brand new tunnel motor. I've got that on my list here because I shot some B-roll footage of the tunnel motor screens where you can see through it. So that's just another wonderful model from scaletrains.com, who is, by the way, the sponsor of the show. And we're going to talk about those a little bit later because we've got a lot of Scale Trains models on the table to talk about tonight.
Yes,
don't
we do. And I was the one that unboxed all of it. Gorgeous models, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Now, Kansas City by day, what a beautiful, clean city it was. You could look out just and see the beautiful train station that they had. There was trains running right through the center of town. They looked just like models. You can see the model of the Western Auto Building that's so famous. That was on Chuck Hitchcock's layout in Kansas City, that beautiful layout where he actually modeled that Western Auto Building. And then the most amazing thing was the Kansas City skyline at nighttime. I can't tell you how beautiful it was. All the buildings had various color lights on top of them. It was something. It looked like something my daughter Anna would paint. It was just beautiful. And as you back off, you can see this wonderful restored Western Auto sign that's on top of this building, fully functional, runs all night long. What a beautiful sign. Something from the 20s, I'm guessing. Now, a model manufacturer makes this sign. I've seen it in the Walters
Miller
catalog.
Engineering.
Yeah, Miller.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can buy a model of this.
Yes.
And of course, Lionel String was there being wonderful Lionel.
Good old
He grabbed
Lionel.
the camera a couple times. He did run camera for me, but there were times, hey, that's the guy from Tangent back there. I think, yeah. Anyway, so Lionel, thanks, Lionel. And that's what I've gotten written down for that. And if you understand what you just seen, it all makes sense.
Lionel is doing his walk today.
Is
Yeah,
that right?
really.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
Tell me about that, Mike.
He goes from Princess Margaret Hospital, where he's received his cancer treatments. He walks all the way home to his barbecue. I think it's 60 miles.
It is.
And he raises money for the hospital to continue the cancer research.
He is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that
Unbelievable.
man. I am so... Anything Lionel wants, man, my house is yours anytime you need it, Lionel. We love you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand you, Joshua, had a big event going on at the PGA that was in St. Louis. That's a bigger event than the Hobby of Trains, isn't it?
It was huge, and we had a great time. Sugar Fire was there throughout the entire week, through the trials, and then through the actual tournament. And we had our own stationary building built for us at Belle Reve. And
That's
I'm
nice.
I'm sure Ken's rolling some B-roll
No,
of
these
that.
pictures are great.
Yeah,
This is a
they-
full-blown facility. It's like a restaurant.
It is. It took them 8 months to build the facility. We had a full walk-in and a full area to not only prepare most of the food, but we had smokers that were brought in for that as well. So
It's
we were
a-
smoking food right on site.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Sugar Fire. You got to love it. And you know what happens when the neon sign, the U burns out on the Sugar Fire sign? Tell us, Joshua.
I post a thing on Facebook that says Sugar Fire, and it doesn't have the U, and it says the only thing missing is you.
Yeah, there you go.
Amen. So when we got that NMRA show in 2020, I hope that everybody's down there eating at this wonderful place.
That's
and
right.
I hope to make it to that one.
I know, Daniel.
You'll be
Everybody
here.
at the
Yeah.
show was asking, "Where's Daniel?"
Right.
Everybody
They
asked
were,
that
really.
question for real.
Mhm.
You have a lot of people out there that really respect
Especially
your
the women.
opinions on DCT. You're very knowledgeable. You've got quite a
Yeah.
following, Daniel.
I know, and about that. So if most of you who aren't on Facebook, I was out in Las Vegas at a last-minute trip. Just, see the sights, and if you want, Ken, here's some video of some beautiful mountains. But to picture it as we were walking into the center, and you look at it as it's like a painting, because they got glass panels in front, and also when you pull back, it kind of looks like a shadow box, but when you go closer, it's the real thing, and you're looking out there. But think about it. Desert scenery plus SP tunnel motors, PFE train, and you got a wonderful photograph.
Awesome.
So
Sweet.
Awesome. Talking about sweet, Daniel, or Joshua, you were down here on Wednesday evening.
Yes.
And you and I
remember.
were both doing preparations for this show, going over some of the material. And my lovely wife, Michelle, came down and brought us some dry ice. And we immediately launched into
Fun. That
Yeah,
sounds
A
fun.
lot of fun.
It was
yes.
so cool that
Yes.
she's like, okay, now what are you guys going to do? Because she just brought it down to show it to us, but
Cool.
we knew what we were going to do with this as soon
That's
as we
right.
got it. You set it up on the river over there. We built a dam, and before you knew it, we're shooting all kinds of video of this, trying to experiment more than anything else, so that the next time we get it, we'll know what we're doing.
Oh, yeah,
but
we're
the
gonna-
effect is absolutely magnificent.
bet.
We're going to buy a ton of it. We need a new freezer in here to store it.
Oh, my
We're
God.
to do a lot of cool stuff.
I'd
with
love
it.
to do a waterfall with it, but just check it out. That's nighttime footage that we got of the train running with the fog rolling across the river. It was amazing experiment. Thank you, Michelle, for bringing us
Yeah,
dry
thank
ice.
you very much.
Thank you so much. What else do I have on the list here? That's the Joshua and the dry ice.
why don't you talk about that Athens photo real quick?
You want to talk about that
Okay.
beautiful Athens photo? This is a
also Athern is Athens, one of our other sponsors. Thank you for that. So it looks like, Ken, we got the Norfolk Southern honoring veterans SD-60 with the military train.
Oh, this is that photograph that you guys saw me do a couple podcasts back, and where I showed you how I built this bridge shot. Athern was handing out these flyers at the show. They had it printed right away, and it was really nice to see that photograph in all of its glory on the Athern table. It's kind of cool when you get to see your work out there. It's kind of makes the job fun. Jeff Meyer, I saw you brought a really cool Southern Pacific engine here. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, speaking of the Kansas City show, Connor picked this out. He got this for his 7th birthday. It's Athearn, ready to roll, I think in their Roundhouse line, patched AC 4400. It's a little too new for me, but Connor obviously wants to model what he sees and what he
That's
knows.
good.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's how you learn.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna detail it and weather it up here pretty soon.
I'll
Just
take
don't-
care of the DCC for you.
There you go. Yeah, we might
Yeah,
need
nice.
Just don't
Daniel
cover
to
it with
help us,
graffiti, okay?
No, no graffiti.
That's awesome. We're 13 minutes into it. You want to do the sponsors thing? Where do you want to start with?
Me?
What do you think we should talk about first?
Okay. How about Scale Train, since we got, I want to say majority of their rolling stock.
Okay,
and-
scaletrains.com. We got a box of material from them this week, and I'm going to
Yep.
read the notes on this because I've got it, and you jump on the Bachmann Grizzly Flats engine because
Sounds
I know
good to
you
me.
know about that.
Yep.
I know we're making this up as we go along. Thank you very much, Scale Trains. Shane Wilson
Thank
for
you.
sponsoring the What's
Thank
Neat This
you.
Week podcast. Tonight, I've got some photographs that I've been shooting outside today of these beautiful freight cars. First of all, I've got the Rivet Counter GE Tier 4 GEVO locomotive. This is the engine number 2015. This has got a beautiful paint job on it. I've only got one photo I took of it, but this is seriously a gorgeous engine with sound in it. And I've also got the same locomotive in the Operators series, which is just a less detailed engine, and that's the black locomotive that
NS.
NS engine that I've got. It's just another neat GEVO Tier 4, but there's a big difference in price. You know, it's amazing that the Operator series can be selling for like $149. It's pretty great. They also showed me an N-scale engine of the same type of locomotive, another Tier 4 GEVO. This is the Rivet Counter series in BNSF in N-scale. It's amazing how they're able to get such great detail on their dies that small.
And sound.
And with sound, Daniel.
Low
You
sound.
had it
Yeah.
sitting on the table a little while ago. We took it off because we didn't want the sound for the microphone, but that
Right.
little puppy's got great sound. Just, it's absolutely amazing. There's a few more freight cars that we had on the list, and the reason for this is because last week's show was a live podcast, and I couldn't cover everything that I wanted to do. And these beautiful carbon black covered hoppers. Now, I
Oh,
know
yeah.
Mike Buddy knows about these. You've got some of those, Mike.
Yes, I've got 3 of them from Scale Trains. They're at home in just about any train from the 70s right up till now, actually. They're still using them. But I know they haul stuff for tire companies. I don't know what else they use carbon black in, but one of the other cars I have is Sid Richardson carbon black company. I recall seeing those back in the 70s and 80s, so
That's cool.
those are the ones I have.
The Thrall 4727 cubic foot is a Rivet Counter freight car. And then I've also got the Thrall 5750 cubic foot, which is a carbon black covered hopper also. And if you look at the difference between those two freight cars, it's amazing, but they're absolutely completely different freight cars. I mean, the end detail,
Different roofs, hatch
the roofs and the
arrangement.
hatches.
Yes.
It's just amazing, again, what scaletrains.com has done. And they've also got these same models available in N scale. I shot a couple of N scale pictures of them the same way. And you know, there's a difference between the rivet counter and the operator series freight cars in that if you look at the ends of the Conrail and this
Penn Central.
the Staley car that I got, the white car, you can see how it's still got all the tanks for the brake, but it doesn't have the piping on the white car, whereas the Conrail's got all the super detail added to it. So it's just amazing what they've done with regards to freight cars. So with that, we also want to talk about the Bachmann locomotive on the table here, which I know you know the name of the gentleman that used to own this engine. What was his name?
Ward Kimball. He is a well-known Disney animator. I think Jiminy Cricket and what was it? The cartoons made in the 40s and the 50s.
Right. Yes, he did Jiminy Cricket. That's correct.
He's also, from what I can tell, well, I hope I can throw this in, but he was also part of a I Love Toy Trains video series for kids where in the introduction he's in the cab of a locomotive ringing the bell and waving at him, and then, the video starts from there. But anyways, so this locomotive represents a prototype, I believe, that was in his backyard.
Yep.
Was it full scale or live steam?
It was this size. It was narrow gauge right here.
Okay. So it ran on his own railroad, named the Emma, Nevada, the Grizzly Flats Railroad, as he called it. Ken, I do believe, though, you did a Bachmann photo shoot for one of their catalogs.
Great
the
segue.
one year.
I love you, Daniel. Yeah, I shot this photograph for the 2016 Bachmann cover where I used this locomotive and built a 6-foot-long scene to create these shots with the train station and everything that's outside on the Garden Railroad now. But that was a really neat shot working with this model. And just a little tip on that photo shoot, I routed out and embedded the track into the foam so that it would look right for the scene. So modeling tip, if you're modeling large-scale indoors in foam, router it out, and that way you save a lot of ballast. And the shot came out really, really good. Also from Bachmann, we've got this table saw that we showed on the 2 podcasts ago. And this time I did build the table for it so that I could put a 12-inch piece of wood onto it for Craftsman wood and then drop the saw down and cut it. So it's all working out great. The saw fits perfectly right in.
Yep.
Right into the table.
Very slick, too.
So
Yeah,
that's how I
that's
would
nice.
use the tool if I'm going to use it. And next week, we've got some more Bachmann tools to feature on the show. I'm spreading them out over the month. Now, Athearn is not to be left out as our sponsor. And this is not a TV commercial, but look at these beautiful CN engines. These are my most favorite engines this week. I know I say that all the time, don't I? But I've been running the wheels off of these locomotives. They just look great running together. I've got 3 of them as a set. And these are called, Daniel, wide cab GP40s.
GP40
L,
-2
-2.
WLWs. I forget.
That's
They're
right.
I'm not a
GP40
CN guy, so I don't
-2s,
know.
right.
No, Jeff is actually right because I remember they had those different. I didn't write that part down, but I just love the way these things are. The wide cabs are beautiful, and we never have any engines from Canada on the show, so it's neat to a salute to Lionel Strang and all of our friends Barry Silverthorne and those guys up in Canada.
Ron Perry.
Barry, thank you
Dave.
for holding camera for me. I saw you doing interviews at the NMRA show, and you had some pretty neat equipment. I was buzzing around you like a fly with my camera, and you were pretty much ignoring me. But nice equipment, Barry, and now we know how you get such great video for Train Masters TV over there at Model Road Hobbyist Magazine. And at that point, I'm starting to run out of things to talk about. We've got everybody covered, and Mike brought a car. Did he talk about his cars yet tonight?
No.
Yeah, Sylvan scale. Yeah, we talked about
We
them.
did?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say I also got, well, you can screenshot this off my
S-scale?
YouTube. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so 2 things, if you don't mind. So first is an S-scale layout I operated on. This is basically set in, I think, the mid-30s. So this is actually the Durango and Silverton. Well, Durango and Silverton, then beyond. And the guy's basically, I think it's halfway done where some parts of scenery. I got B-roll footage of it and a few still pictures, but most of his engines were brass.
How about that?
And he actually got him to have tsunami sound, too. So that was impressive to have the brass engine running. I mean, now brass, granted, it doesn't run real well because he's got some hand-laid turnouts that we had many, derailments here and there that we had to correct. But overall, it was just a different layout, away from the modern UP stuff that I'm used to and what I model. But the fact that the mountains were just gorgeous, the track work was hand-laid, it was perfect, just a few little bugs to fix here and there. So
How
and
about
then
that?
next thing is I went railfanning today.
Oh,
Local
yeah. I saw that
Facebook
footage.
group. Well, you can screenshot this off my YouTube
I
channel.
want to. This is good. I'm sitting back watching the train now while I'm editing.
Yep, and I
Yay.
got notified by a gentleman, or actually Doug Howell, who's in the
building.
vaccines, to say, "Hey, we got 2 northbounds out of Crystal City coming," and I waited there for a good 30 minutes, and then both of them shot past me. The last train that shot past me gave me a horn show, so I'm thinking that the engineer on the second one said, "Hey, just give this guy a little horn salute, and then you're on the way."
Maybe
So-
they're fans of the podcast. They
Maybe.
might have
They
recognized
might
you.
recognize
Yeah, that could be, but
You have
who
a lot
knows?
of fans.
Who
It's kind of
knows?
cool how this show is developing into something where this is a show made by us, for us, by model railroaders. We're just simple guys that like to play with trains. It's the best hobby in the world, and we do this every Saturday night. We get to bring you guys along with us, and we're so happy to have everybody that comes along. It was great meeting all of you folks at the NMRA show that held out their hands, thanked us for what it is that we do to help promote the hobby, which is simply all that this is about. We've created a platform that is almost self-supporting completely now, in that it's not costing any money other than it's working out. Everything's working out where we can produce this show every week and promote the hobby, and that's what this is about. I also want to thank Tony Kester from Calmbach Publishing. What a great respected author and publisher that he is. He gave us an interview for What's Neat.
Oh,
And
good.
all of this material is going to run in the October What's Neat show, and that'll cover. And by the way, the show that's just coming out in a few more, let's think another week and a half, will be the Prototype Modeler show, where we cover that show very, very thoroughly. I've got to call up the gentleman that makes what's the guy that makes the large scale cars? What was his name?
Large scale cars.
The great big model. He built that white truck.
I can't think of his
Hurt.
Oh, Steve. Yeah, Steve
Hurt.
Hurt.
I need to
from
find out what
Kentucky,
scale
yeah.
Steve Hurt models, because the guys
That's,
at MRH
that's
want to know.
125th scale.
Right, is it
125th
125th? So
or
I don't have to
124th.
call him now. There's our
Yes.
answer right there. So the gentleman at Model Road Hobbies that sent me an email. There's your answer on the podcast
Yeah.
right there. I don't have to do
With
any
the
work.
MKT caboose and
Yeah,
everything on the flat truck.
car.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
amazing. We interview him. We interview a few manufacturers. But what I don't do is I don't ask them what's the new product, what's the latest and greatest. No. This time we turned it around a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting, because I know those kind of shows don't get high ratings. So this time I asked him more or less, tell me about your passion for trains. Tell me what it is that you love about this hobby so much. And everybody's answer is different, and it's amazing. So it makes for a very interesting show. And I did something similar to that at the NMRA. But at the NMRA show, we focused more on the modular layouts. I really didn't interview all the manufacturers at that show, just mostly the layouts, because there was so much neat stuff there. The Lego layout blew us away.
Yeah, that was neat.
Oh my goodness gracious. Elaborate on that.
I was amazed at how many layouts were there, like you said.
Yes.
I mean, it was probably
Yeah.
over half the show. I knew there would be a lot or some layouts, but
Right.
like I said, I think it was half the floor space, and
Yeah.
almost all of them were really
quality.
good layouts.
Yes.
Yep, everything down to
impressive.
Z-scale layouts.
Yeah.
I was impressed
Yeah,
with that.
I was at Z scale was really
Yeah,
impressive.
the Lego layout was really neat. They had the Ghostbusters firehouse and then the big Stay Puft Marshmallow
Yeah.
Man. That was cool.
The thing that impressed me about the Lego layout was they had the Union Pacific 8444 and the Greyhound, and it looked right. It looked about O scale. They had a T1 articulated Pensy locomotive, and none of these are kits. All of this stuff was scratch built. I hope I'm not rolling B-roll on this right now. Just trust me, it was really neat stuff. It's going to be in the What's Neat videos. I'm going to spread the Lego layouts over 2 months because I don't want to run all 3 layouts in the same video. I think that wouldn't be good. But they don't glue these models together, guys. That's the one thing I gave them trouble about. Their whole principle is that if you drop it, you lose it forever, and then you can build something else out of it.
Wow.
And plus, when they build these beautiful, elaborate, tall buildings, they like to add to them as their skills get better. So then they like not having it glued together. So I understand that, but it was
Right.
kind of funny because on video during the interview, the guy dropped the roof of the Mopac caboose on the floor, and that was my whole point.
Whoa.
It was kind of funny. We got a lot of great video from the show. It was nothing but it was wonderful to get out of the basement.
Well, shame I couldn't be there because I probably would have been put to work, and then everyone would have been coming up to say, "Hey, I need help with my DCC," or
Yeah.
like,
That's right.
That's right.
yeah, I'll try to make it to Salt Lake. Just
Yeah.
we'll see how school and part-time job goes for me.
Daniel,
So,
it's going to be here in 2 years, 2020. It's going to be
yeah,
crazy.
I know. I'll try to make it then.
We're going to have the narrow gauge national show in St. Louis that year, and we're also going to have the NMRA National in St. Louis that year. And believe me, 2 years, that's 5 minutes from now, okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it sure is.
What else, guys? We're running on the clock. We're coming to the end here. Anybody wants to throw something else out there?
I'm going to see Rod Stewart tomorrow night. He's a train guy.
Dude, man, cool.
Yes.
He might ask
I
for
can't
your
wait.
autograph.
Yeah, you never
Maybe.
know.
Oh, yes.
He
I'm
might-
sitting up close.
If-
He
There
might
you
put
go.
you to work.
He might be
wants some
scan.
cars.
If he scans and all of a sudden in the middle of a concert or the middle of a performance, he's like, "Hey, Mike, buddy, can I have your autograph if I see you on the What's
Yeah.
Neat podcast?"
You tease me with
We'll
that because
see.
you know I can't say anything about that.
Yeah.
So I cannot elaborate on Rod Stewart right now. I'm not allowed to say anything about that.
Well,
But yeah, he's in St. Louis. Rock and roll Rod Stewart in St. Louis. He's going to be at Red Rocks out at the beautiful place in Colorado next week. And he was in Kansas City with us while we were at the show. So he
Really?
was in, yeah.
It's following you.
It's really neat how they just go. It's got to be an interesting lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hats off to Rod Stewart. We love your models. We love what you've got.
I'm going to try and weather that Penn Central hopper there during the week, too.
Oh,
so
that's
we'll see.
right.
There
The
you go.
Penn Central hopper from Scale Trains. I don't know if I'm allowed to give it to you, so I'm going to give it to you now.
Okay.
See if I get in trouble. Bring it back next week, weathered.
All right.
And tell us how you
I'll do that.
faded it and how you made it look, because I know what you're going to do to it. I already see it, and it's going to look cool. But yeah, rock and roll on that, Mike. I'm
All
glad
right.
you remembered to bring that up because I was totally forgetting about that.
Okay.
You guys can still watch the August 2018 What's Neat video. That's still running. Rick Huntrod's beautiful HON3 layout. I'm going to run the clip of this trestle because it's my favorite clip from his interview. I love this shot. Ron Perry. We love you, Ron Perry from Canada. He builds that gorgeous brick building and tells us about coloring the bricks. Also, Pete Doty's wharf layout. I'm still getting emails about this layout. They love the backdrops and they love all the switching that he's got up the street on this layout. It's pretty neat. I've got written down here Dave Davis. I guess we do that jointed rail section on my layout. Am I
Yep.
reading the right
Maybe.
one?
He's working on some
I
ties
thought
that he's
that video
casting.
already came out. Oh, that's running right now.
Yeah,
And then
those
Steve,
Yeah,
ties
I
are
see
really
it.
neat.
right, Stephen M.
months.
Conroy. Stephen M. Conroy, you cost me a lot of money with that military train, brother, because now I'm building the whole thing, and I'm doing it for parts on the show. But the fact is, yeah, wow, hello, yeah, that's a project. Let me tell you what, it's like 20 cars long now, and it's just
Wow.
amazing. It's very, very cool
And
how
it
it's
keeps
coming out.
growing.
I know. Well, those strikers are like $50 a piece. It takes 3 to fill a flat car, so it's like added up. It's scary, but it's going to turn out to be a really neat model, and I'm going to get a lot of video footage out of that. So with that, I think it might be almost time for us to run trains.
Yeah,
Thank you
I like
everybody
that.
for helping. You know, there's folks out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
Did you
for
know that?
coming,
Guys wanna
everybody.
clap with us? Yeah, you see that? There's people here. We have wonderful people here.
Thank
We
you
should
very much.
we should have done that for the opening.
Yeah, I probably should have.
And there's nothing else. So let's. Who wants to close out? Daniel, close it out. Number 46.
All right, guys. As always, I'm gonna say give a like, maybe a dislike,
No. Dislikes.
We
Just
love
kidding.
it.
comments,
Yeah.
questions below. Just also, and I don't know. Are you working on September's right now? What's neat?
September, I got a head start
I'd
on
say that
NMRA. Yep.
September's what's neat, and I don't
It's
think
going to be great.
next week should be the last week in August, right?
I don't know. The way we're doing it right now, it looks like September 1st is a show where we're not going to do a show because that's going to be our time to catch up on all the What's Neat stuff, which I'll be able to put November to bed almost by then. We've got a lot of material starting to stack up. It's amazing how many manufacturers have been wanting to be on the show. And so the footage is literally stacking up. So it's getting easier to produce that. Either that or we're going to have to make it a 1-hour show. I know. I way more than I wanted to talk about on that. Guys, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Let's go run some trains.
How about it?
Yeah,
Let's
right.
do it. Okay.
Thank you.